All right, looks like we're live. Good morning. Let me make sure my mic is on here. All right, looks like it is. Okay. Let's see. I got up a little bit later today than normal, trying to get all my tabs open on here. I did read a interesting article that got put out by Investor Place. It looks like maybe this morning. It was pretty bullish. Laid out some of the I guess so-called bear case about CLOV, but it went over all the positives as well and had a positive outlook for the future. So overall, I'd say a pretty bullish article. I also saw one on Motley Fool, Fool.com that came out that was uh, kind of dismissing all the great news that we've had and basically laying out that Clove had no chance against competitors and all this other kind of stuff. But the Fool's good for that. As soon as we see a good day, a big green day, they'll come out and write a bullish one in the opposite direction. That's normally what they do. Um, all right, let's see who's here in the chat. Uh, Again, thank you everybody who's on here early with me. I know I normally typically, I'm scheduled. I say I'm going to start around 6, but occasionally if I'm up and I'm ready to roll, we'll do it. Let's see. Div by zero says to clove or not to clove, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind with ATOS and SESN bags to suffer the ticks that come few both up and down. Hey, go. What's up? What's going on? Oh, we're going. We're cut thy losses in that sea of bad memories, and then by ending them, look to greener possibilities. Christian, coach, what do you make of all the smoke signals with the 11 quantity shares on the ask right now? It's typically now again, this is one of the things I don't like about Thinkorswim is their level 2 isn't as precise as, let's say, like my Charles Schwab. So let me pull up my Charles Schwab level 2 real quick and we'll get that over here. If I can figure it out. Let's see. Stock, market depth. It won't detach. Uh, I'll get it off in a second, and we'll get it. We'll get it over here so we can look at it. Let me see if I can do this. Like Street Smart Edge, I don't like the charts and everything else about it, but it has a great level 2 where I think lets you see most of the depth in the entire chain. And I'm trying to get a new software for streaming too, just so I can get this thing set up so that we could look at, kind of take a look at everything. But here's the level 2, kind of in its entirety. I do not see. Oh, I do see. Look, we got an 11 there on the Nasdaq, an 11 there at 841, 11 at 843, 844. So there are some 11 share orders in there, and then I thought I might have saw one here. Um, oh, but yeah, there are a bunch tucked in there. I don't know. I mean, I've seen this in the past with even with like GameStop, where um there's like a bunch of orders in there with ones, like just one share orders, hidden throughout the entire not hidden, but sitting there across the entire level 2. And my assumption is kind of like, they're doing this to just basically, even though it's not walls, it is bids or asks that have to be kind of chewed through on the way up. So it's just putting up more blocks. But I mean, 11 shares, that's kind of weird. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to make of it. Scotty, what's up? Good morning, Scotty. Ago's in the house. Good morning, blah, blah. What's up? today's the day. Start those mowers, boys and gals. What's up? Blah 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 is one of the mods of the CLOV subreddit. And while we're talking about it, there is a link down below. I put it in all my videos. Um, to get into the CLOV subreddit. Please check it out if you haven't. There's a ton of great information on there. Um, a lot of people doing some great due diligence, DD, and there's really a lot of stuff, and you can also catch some stuff happening live. Like the articles I just mentioned. I haven't even been on the subreddit this morning, but I would imagine that someone's already kind of come across them and posted them. With over 40,000 members, you're always going to be up to date on the most relevant information that has to do with CLOV. So definitely worth checking out. Dennis, what's up? Good morning. Pat, good morning, coach. Nowhere to go but up. Absolutely. And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Pat, because, you know, I really do feel, I keep saying that, we're kind of at this $8 floor. And I mean, yeah, we can get pushed down below. Like yesterday, we went down and touched 8 and then came back up. But they haven't really been able to get us below 8. And so, like right now, the S&P 500 is trending downwards. Closed yesterday at 444, looking like it's going to open in the 443 range. I mean, it could just come rallying back like we've seen in other days, but a lot of times when anything like that, whether it be the Dow, or the S&P, or any of those major indexes start drawing down, you see stocks go down with them. But CLOV, on the other hand, there's not much more down to go. Like, I think we're kind of at a point where, like, even if we were to see, some sort of market sell off at any day now, which I'm not saying is coming, but if we were to see it, CLOV's not really going to sell off much more. We're at the bottom. Every time we get to 8, there's investors willing to come in, whether it be retail, whales, or institutions that are willing to come in and buy this stock, in this $8 range, and that's what's giving us that support. So I really think Pat's right. There's nowhere to go but up from here. Pete, what's up? Good morning. Holiday option. Good morning, coach. Catching you on my commute. Right on. I got to remember that too, that some of you guys are driving. So when I'm start talking about stocks and where they're at, I just got to keep giving myself mental notes to also announce the price. So like right now, for instance, CLOV's trading at 825, in pre-market, 826. So, we're looking at a 9-cent gain off of yesterday's 817 close. Skips in the house. What's up? 6-8 Spindrift. Sir Lucky Charms. Gunslinger, good morning. We try to catch up with all you guys. Pete says, let's keep the institutional buying going. That would be proof they are trying to catch up and get on the right side of this trade. Yeah. Yesterday we saw, let me see if I can pull this up. Take a look at it real quick, but not as much institutional buying being reported yesterday, at least the last time I checked, right when the market closed. But there was a ton of institutional buying the day before that was reported the day before. But yeah, so yesterday, 817, like I said, not a lot. We saw Invesco, 10,000 shares. But then at the same time, looks like Bruce Bay Fund closed out their position. Perceptive Advisors, 1.5 million shares. But it's saying 0% shares change. That's what I don't understand with some of these when they come in, because white does mean that, someone is adding to their position or changing their position. It could be taken away, but they're not fully closing out their position. So like this morning, we see Bluefin Capital, with 559,000 calls, 232,000 puts. They've already had an open position in CLOV, but they increased by 127% their call position while also increasing their put position by 253%. So it looks like they may have increased their position overall, overall they have a net long position we could see here because there's more calls than puts, but they added on a little bit more to their put position yesterday. So that's what we're looking at when we look at these numbers. Perception Advisors yesterday with 1.5 million shares. Quite a lot of shares, but it doesn't really give us the, to let us know how much change there was there. But yeah, either way, a ton of institutional buying. I mean, this is just as we scroll through, this is still going into up until around here last week. And if you go through there and count that stuff up, I mean, institutions are definitely coming in and seeing this as a buy, right now at these prices. Your pal Al, what's up? Ken Lynn, good morning. Joseph Scott in the house, what's up? Mike D says good morning, coach, and everybody else. Webistics is dropping clovers in the chat along with Michael. Let's see. Blah blah says thank you for the clove shout out. Passing that ball is what ball boys do. Yeah, man. I always, I mean, feel like for months now, I think it's really strong, and I'll just bring it up again. That we can't, if we want to help grow the Clove community, part of that is, getting into the Clove subreddit and upvoting the solid posts that you see on there. I mean, it's okay to be a lurker, but contribute by upvoting. If you're gonna go on Twitter and maybe you're not, feel confident about making your own posts, go retweet posts from dudes like Degenerate, Matt Jasifu, I mean, Tarheel Blue, Al Trades, anybody and anyone who's out there, Mac Bracken, Ghost, who's going to be on the show in a little bit. But go on there and retweet those guys' stuff. That's how you help. That's how you contribute. Same thing when it comes to YouTube. And I've been preaching this for a while too. Go on Sean Stocks videos, go on Dutch Trades videos, go on Tar Heel Blue, go on Al Trades. Anybody who's covering Target Short Sellers, anybody who's covering Clove on YouTube, go subscribe to their channels and make sure that you hit the like button on all their videos that they're talking about Clove, because that's just going to help get them in the algorithm and help other people see the videos. So now someone's in there looking for a different stock, and then they're going to come across, when they're done watching their video, one of these other people's videos that I just mentioned is going to come up now, because your upvote is helping to get them in the algorithm. And that's the same thing you're doing when you retweet somebody's stuff, is it's just getting it more visible, making it more seen by other people. And that's how we can continue to grow this community. All right. Michael says coaches on early, can't sleep. Yeah, well, I mean, normally I've been waking up at 4 lately. Today I woke up a little late. It was like 4:45. That's why I jumped on at 5:15. But yeah. Let's see. Dennis says the subreddit is not allowing us to post. Our club have maybe 20 posts during market hours. Okay, I don't know what's up with that. But blah blah. If you're here, maybe you could respond, or at least maybe look into it. I'm not sure. Michael says our Clove knocking on the door to 42K. Likely Jab Dad wants to know the likelihood of hedge funds successfully suppressing the price action until 820 calls expire. It looks like they're succeeding right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie at all. Like, we have the potential for a gamma squeeze, but yeah, I mean, if we want to see one happen and we want to see this stock take off, um, I said it yesterday, and I mean, it could still happen today, but we need to get this price, let's say, to like $9, close above 9, and then maybe continue. Now that'll continue some momentum into after hours, where all of a sudden we'll have more people jumping on and continuing to buy, so that maybe tomorrow morning we open up above 10. The only way we're going to see something like this, like a gamma squeeze kick off, is if we we get the price moving, and maybe like where we're opening up one day and getting a bunch of calls into the money. Right now we don't have calls in the money. We're we're in a losing position. There's more right now. There's more puts in the money than calls. So I'd say it's really likely that the hedge funds may win this week. And be able to keep the price under 9 for another week. But I did go over that in my video last night, and I'll pull it up here again in a little bit after I catch up in the chat. But um, the option chain is still absolutely like loaded up for the following weeks. Actually, more so for September. There's a lot of open interest in November, but it's not a dead play by any means. I mean, Clove in general isn't a dead play. Like you look at Clove at $8, it's worth way more than this. This is an investment that will pay off 2 to 3-fold in the near term future in my eyes, without a gamma squeeze or a short squeeze. As the company continues to just grow organically, and start announcing either Clover Assistant, getting picked up by other insurers, which we kind of already see that that's something they're looking into, with their whole cloud-based thing they were talking about early last week. We also, know they're looking to expand. That's something that could serve as more potential catalysts. We also, like I mentioned this a couple times this week now, L Train had pointed out they're looking to hire a stars director. And I mean, as soon as they get up to 4 stars, you're really going to see some movement in the stock. So anyways, but the gamma squeeze wouldn't even be over even if we didn't hit it this week either. I would say less likely today than it was yesterday, and it'll continue to trend in that direction. I mean, if we open up tomorrow kind of flat like this again, yeah, it's probably not looking very good. Volume right now, damn, see, I pulled up that, let's see. Oh, volume right now we're looking at is probably around almost 300,000. So kind of like where we were at yesterday. Um, Low Work, what's up? Good morning. What's up? Good morning. Gunslinger says if the market sells off, we might go up. Most large cap stocks are at their 52-week high. Yeah, I can see that too. Some days we've been trending in the opposite direction of the market. The beginning, I'm getting mixed info on the importance of buying calls as well as shares. Can you expand on this? I don't think it's important for us as retail to buy calls. I really don't. I think for us as retail, shares are always going to be safer because shares is what they don't expire. I think that buying calls is just a decision that you need to make on whether you want to make some sort of risk to maybe leverage your gains. That's all. I don't think it's important for retail to buy options at all. I don't think that we help load up the chain at all. Don't get me wrong. I mean, us buying calls will contribute in a small form to a potential gamma squeeze, but the major buys on the option chain, to me, that's whales coming in that are really trying to push the price. So to me, I don't think there's an importance of buying calls for us to help move the stock price. Now, if you choose to, I mean, I have calls too. I got some calls that I'm buying whenever I always have at least 10 calls on Clove going at once. There's my portfolio, my shares, and then like a tiny fraction of that. Yeah, I'll go in and buy some short dated calls if I think that there's gamma squeeze potential. And if my 820 calls that I have expire, I'll probably go in on Monday if these expire worthless because we don't hit the gamma squeeze this week. I'll go in on Monday and probably buy maybe a couple more, for further out. And I like to always have some in my back pocket. But again, I don't think that necessarily hold on, I just lost something over here. I don't think that it's important for us as retail to do that though. Um, I think for us, it's just we're just riding the coattails of the big dogs. Um, Sam G says excited for today. Sweden says hello. What's up, Sam G? Christo's in the house. Good morning. Chef Daddy made it. Was up early waiting for you and watching VRPX. Is it still moving? I saw that yesterday, and I think that was a gamma squeeze yesterday from what I was reading. Holy shit. Excuse my language, but yeah, let me look at the options chain on this because sorry, I didn't have my option chain set up here like I normally do. Let me get this pulled up. Somebody had said on Twitter, I thought I read, no, there's not even options for that. So that's absolutely false. Someone had mentioned on Twitter, I thought that VRPX gamma squeezed. That is not the case. There's not even options on that. So yeah, I read that wrong. But yeah, that thing is flying. Pharmaceutical play, I think. We looked at it yesterday. Cuckoo birds in the house. Let me see here. And then Joseph, I'm gonna skip ahead and just come to this because I did see that you put a super sticker in there, and I just want to make sure and thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Means a lot. Just you guys all coming in here. I mean, shit, it's not even 6 a.m. yet. Put the super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me get back over here and try to catch up. I think I'm almost there. Crypto, what's up? Thanks for joining me. Rick says I saw a video last night that a guy showed that on Webull at one point yesterday that CLOV was untradeable. So at some point, Webull yesterday was having an issue filling orders or something like that on CLOV. He had a screenshot of it. I came across something like that on Twitter as well. I was kind of busy doing other stuff yesterday, but I did come across a post. I think someone was even like saying that maybe they had some issue as well and like sent a screenshot. I don't know. Like if I've heard about this in the past with CLOV and with other stocks, and I mean if that's true, then potentially what could be happening is a situation where the broker, your Webull account, or let's say your Thinkorswim, your TD Ameritrade, your Schwab, whoever you trade through, wants to ensure that they're actually getting real shares when they're filling these orders because they're getting to a point to where they're getting nervous. They don't want to get caught in like the Robinhood situation with GameStop back in January, where they end up on the hook if there's failure to delivers and they need to come into the clearinghouse and have the right amount of shares on hand and certain things like that. So that could be the case, but typically, and we've talked about this before, if you're putting a buy order through and they're routing it to a market maker will just fill that order, whether they have shares on hand or not. So I don't know what to make of that. DJ Tardis, what's up? Thanks for joining. Midwest Tom. Just like every morning, I wake up and say this could be Moon Day. Yep. Ecom, today's going to be a huge day. I can guarantee it. I'll explain how I knew this evening. Okay, Ecom, right on. I like it. Jason, yo, good morning. Okay, yeah. So Dennis, I could explain that because I had the same issues. Um, Need more info. You have the karma and the age restrictions. So if that could be it, the karma thing, if that is, I mean, I had that same issue. I was a lurker on Reddit for years, and then finally created an account because I wanted to post. But when I created the account, I didn't have the karma. Okay, so you need to. A lot of times when subs like CLOV get really big, even when Wall Street Bets, when it started taking off, they keep upping the karma requirements. Super Stonks been doing the same thing for a while too, just to make sure to kind of filter out some stuff. And I know it sucks if you don't have the karma requirements because then it's like, well, how am I ever going to get it if I can't post? So I totally feel your pain if that's the situation you're in. But you just got to go on some other subreddits, make some posts, build up your karma, and usually sometimes you could do it in one post. I mean, you write a post, you get some upvotes, maybe a couple awards, and then you can come right back to Clove and start posting. But if that's the situation you're in, that's probably why. Um, Rob Blank, what's up from Orlando, Florida? Um, Louis, good morning. Max Payne for this Friday. I'm glad you brought that up because it does change day by day. So Max Payne right now is $9, and that's what it was yesterday. So it's still at $9. SMJ, what's up? Good morning. Did you see Ortex data? It's at 16%. I did not. Let's take a look. And this might have changed since you posted that. I don't know what you're saying is at 16%, but let's take a look. Estimated short interest of float 16. That's all right. So, increase in shares on loan, right? I mean, this is an absolute increase from yesterday. Cost to borrows increased from yesterday. Utilization dropped. Again, average cost to borrows up. So what happened, and I think what's going on here, I'm in a group text with L Train and Al Trades and Degenerate and a couple other people. We were talking about this last night. I should say they were talking about it, and I was just kind of glancing at it. I wasn't really actively participating in the conversation, but this looks new. Okay. And I think this may be what they were talking about, and I could be wrong, but so basically if the float gets increased like by 41 million shares, so this is probably some warrants that potentially have now been converted over to shares as opposed to class B or as the warrants, but now they became shares, then all of a sudden you're going to see an increase in the float size. So if the float size increases, then your Ortex data is going to start reporting that the short interest of the free float went down because the float's larger now. So I think that might be what's going on there. But even with that, it almost seems like, and without putting a tinfoil hat on or anything like that, it almost seems like you know like they're intentionally trying to suppress the real numbers. And I only say this, and I'm not saying necessarily Ortex, but it does seem fishy that yesterday we started seeing all these different free float reported numbers everywhere. And typically you know when you have a big institution that owns, like right there, 44 million shares, that's not part of the free float. The free float is supposed to be what's tradable by us, by retail, and that would be part of the overall outstanding shares increased, but the free float didn't necessarily increase. So kind of a discrepancy there too. I know Al Trades probably already emailed Ortex 15 times and is waiting. Al, if you're watching, Al's doing some great work, like really staying on top of that stuff. And I'm sure he's probably already reached out to them and waiting on a response, and he'll get to the bottom of it. But that isn't accurate in regards to the free float. The free float is supposed to be the tradable shares amongst us as retail. So that would insinuate that the float got diluted. And to me, that's not actually what happened. The outstanding shares may have increased, but it's institutional shares. So we'll have to see what happens. Degenerate, what's up? Thanks for joining. Bart Rabwin, breakfast check, coffee check, teeth brush check, vitamins check, signed into Coach B check. You're just part of the morning ritual right now, Coach. Right on, man. I appreciate it. I love doing this. It's fun. I'm glad that one of my friends kind of encouraged me to start doing live streams. It's starting to pick up, and I'm starting to look forward to it. Like, this is how I start my mornings now. Um, all right, let's see. Levi's in the house. Good morning. I know I already said good morning to Scotty, but Scotty, I see you in the chat. Good morning again, Scotty. Can't wait to get you on Friday if you're free. We're going to try to make that the Friday routine. Also, if you're just joining, Ghost is going to be coming on and joining me in about 13 minutes here, and signing on to join as well. So let's see here. Josh Stewart, what's up? Good morning. Michael says, don't forget the like button. Yeah, I think that helps drive in traffic too. I was talking about earlier how you can kind of help grow the community. But even when you're sitting here on the live stream, if you hit the like button, that it puts, ups this in the algorithm, and it basically, helps drive traffic in. Let's see. Jason says, does Degenerate make any videos? I see him hounding the shit out of the SEC to get the manipulation out of Clover, which I most definitely appreciate. He doesn't, but he does go on Tarheel Blue Show quite a bit. And kind of do some stuff with Tarheel Blue. So you could definitely catch him on there. I don't know what his plans are for the future. Maybe we could have him even come on here one day and talk about it. Zeke for Bleak, what's up? Good morning. BTFD says, I emailed FactSet and they said that float number doesn't match what they have. Also, if Shamath executed warrants, that's great. And Freak in the house. Let's see. Al posted a video with the response from Ortex. They said they agree data has discrepancies and they have escalated to the data sources. Okay. Yep. And BTFD has a great point. If Shamat didn't sell at 28, he's not selling at 8. So even if he exercises warrants, not worried about him selling. A West, what's up? Good morning. And it looks like I just caught up. There's Scotty right there. Let's see it. Okay. So like I said, sorry, that took me a while to get through the chat, but I love doing it. I try to read every comment. Sometimes I get behind, and I'll say this too, like once Ghost comes on, it's going to be hard to really keep up with the chat whenever I have a guest on. Sometimes I can't really, stay on top of the chat the way that I want to. So I'll try to star whatever I can and get back to it. But what I'm going to start doing too is, this was I don't know if I'm sure co-creator's not here yet. Otherwise he would have said what's up. But I was talking to him one day and he was kind of saying to me too, like whenever we have a guest on, that it's good to, potentially, like maybe leave a time for questions and just, let everybody know. So what we'll do with Ghost is when he comes on, me and him will probably rap for a little bit and talk, and then I'll maybe say like, okay, we're going to take some questions now, and that way if anyone did put something that we skipped over, you could throw them back in and we'll get to them, because sometimes it just gets really hard to keep up with the chat when everybody's when I'm talking and letting somebody else talk and all that kind of stuff. Pat, what's up? Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It says a sparkling diamond. I wish I could see it. I got it. Oh, you know what? There, I just went to my YouTube and I could see the diamond now. For some reason, I still can't. I even emailed Ecamm and said like, "Hey, what's up? Like, how do I get these super stickers and super chats to show up on the stream?" And I think they said they're working on it. Let's see here. So I'm just looking around. Oh, I had VRPX up. VRPX is crazy too. That thing, again, I wasn't on this stock at all, but trading at $12 at one point yesterday. But if we take it back even further, $4 the day before. So this stock is looking at a 10 times run. That would be amazing to be, to be in this thing down there, or even just jump on it in between. I know some of you guys jumped on yesterday from you were saying on the chat, but it looks like it's it's still running. So not really quite sure what the news on that is. If you made some money on it, I'm happy for you. So yeah, like I was saying yesterday with the SPY, all time highs here on Monday, hitting 447. Started trending downwards. Opened yesterday at 444, 445. Hit a low of 440, and now today, even though it popped back up in after hours yesterday, it is trading lower in pre-market today. But I do feel like, for us at least, for Clove, um, you know, we're kind of at the bottom. So even if the SPY or any of the markets start trending downwards today, I don't think it's going to be able to draw Clove down as much. Looks like Tarheel Blues in the chat. What's up, Tarheel? Thanks for coming in. I know you're always out there listening. He always tells me too that he doesn't like to get in the chat. I love jumping in Tarheel's chat and trying to distract him during his streams. Ego says, look into OBS or XSplit. I'm gonna write down XSplit. I didn't like OBS. I've been using OBS even for like my classroom. I don't know. I didn't like it as much. I felt like it was slowing down my computer, and at the time, but now I have all this RAM. Maybe it'll work out a little bit better. I also saw one called like Streamlabs OBS that I'm gonna look into. I downloaded, and that one looks pretty cool. It's got some like unique layouts and things. And then, but XSplit I'll look into as well. Thank you. Inspectron, coach, is still good to buy warrants instead of commons for long-term play? I don't believe so, but I don't know anything about warrants. I just want to be honest with you. Like, I mean, I've been investing and trading for quite some time now. I've never dabbled in warrants. I know Pablo likes to play warrants. My understanding is, warrants can pay off more. It's almost like, kind of like an options contract. It can have this big payoff in the future, but then in like the case of Clove, they ended up calling in their warrants sooner, and so it didn't have that big payoff that a lot of the warrant holders thought it had the potential to. Good for the company, and like warrant holders didn't necessarily get screwed. They still ended up getting shares. Just not as many as they would have liked to because the stock wasn't trading where they would have liked it to be at the time. That's my understanding of it, but I'm in no way in a position to answer warrant questions. I just got to be perfectly honest. Jose, what's up? What's good? What's going on? Spike says the dictator Shamath is looking for a minimum 10 bagger. He ain't doing anything below $100. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I mean, at some point he's gonna sell, right? I mean, he even sold some of his Virgin Galactic on their run up that time. So I mean, everyone's gonna take profit at some point. But I don't think he's gonna be taking profit anytime soon. You're absolutely correct in that. Mike in DC, what's going on? Jose says OBS needs more customization. Yeah, it just, for me, it was more like, it wasn't, I mean, I've been using OBS for years, so it wasn't really like that I didn't want to take the time to customize it or anything like that. It just seemed like it was slowing my computer down too much. But then I just recently, like a couple weeks ago, bought some RAM. So, maybe I just got to find some time and play around with it. I did. For those of you that have been checking out my Chalk Talk videos, I've been doing those now for about 2 to 3 weeks, basically just explaining stuff that's happening in the markets. And, I've been starting to get into options and things like that. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day and just saying, like, I want to put some visuals on the screen too while I'm talking, but it's so hard. And he's like, well, why don't you, just like go film it in front of a chalkboard or something? And it's like, man, that's too much work. So yesterday I ordered one of those little tablets where I could do a whiteboard on the screen and draw on it. So I'm excited about that. I think it's coming in today. So my next Chalk Talk video, I might be able to pull out the pen and actually get on the whiteboard and start doing some drawing and stuff. So that should be fun. Something that I'm looking forward to at least. Claude's asking predictions for the day, more sideways. Really hard to say. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I had to make a prediction, um, our volume right now seems very on point with where we were at yesterday. So I would expect to see similar volume. But we're about 320,000 right now, approaching 6 o'clock. Um, I mean, if we do get on a run and close above 9, I could see this thing really taking off and taking advantage of these August 20th options that are in play. But it's kind of looking at, that we may be getting pinned below 9 this week. I mean, I'm just going to be perfectly honest. I like to temper my expectations whenever possible. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised when something goes differently. Um, if we can close above 9, I think we really got a shot to maybe get some after hours movement and some pre-market movement tomorrow and kick things off. Let's see. Everybody's saying Streamlabs is the way to go. Stars, what's up? Good morning. A Thinking Mind, what's up? Good morning. SRT, good morning, bro. Jose says, look up gaming streamers for their settings on OBS. They use a high frame rate and make it lag very little. Okay. Let's see. A West says, LFG, Granny needs a new pair of shoes. I like it. Jose says, I was hoping for over $9. Got a lot of calls, but I think I agree with you. We don't hold above 9. Yeah, I mean we absolutely can. It's like every single day, if you look, we make this little run. Yesterday it was right off the open. We got up to like 848 and then we got suppressed down. The day prior it was kind of in, later on in the day, and we pushed above 850. We even hit 857. We've been there. We've gotten to that point, but this is a heavily manipulated stock, and really, it's we're just gonna need I think somebody else, like some whales or somebody, to help give us that push. Someone needs to come in and help get us past that point, get us past 9. And then the options chain will take over too. So, if we look at the options chain, I'll pull that up. I know Ghost just said he's going to get on in about 5 minutes. Ghost, if you're listening, I did get your text. All right, so let's see here. So if I pull up the options chain just to see where we got from yesterday, looking at 850 actually looks really heavily in our favor now with 10,000 calls outweighing puts. So even getting past 850 might help propel us a little bit. But then 9 and even 950 starting to build up. So we have this little gamma ramp here that, even if we don't hit the squeeze, I think getting above 850 and holding there could potentially, as we get closer to Friday, propel us to just closing above 10 on Friday. But really what we'd want to see to kick off this gamma squeeze and take advantage of all these options is we want to get up here and get like, this right here is what, 31,000, 41,000 calls right here between 850 and $9 strike. So just getting above 9 and, like, let's say holding there to close out today is going to make a lot of delta hedging happen moving into tomorrow, which could potentially cause pre-market tomorrow to start running wild. And and then at that point, you close above 1250 or open up tomorrow above 1250, and there's a ton of calls in here. So it's absolutely possible, but it's not trending in our direction right now. We haven't been, seeing that upward movement every day. And I mean, but again, on the bright side, they haven't been able to get us below 8 either. That doesn't help the gamma squeeze, but to me, that's confirmation that this is the buying zone. This is where you want to be jumping into this stock at. Lisa, what's up? Good morning, Lisa. Ecatab's in here. Good morning. Good morning. Um, Moto says a couple positive articles out today. Maybe hedge funds ready to let it fly. I saw the Fool put out a negative one, it seemed like, but the Fool's always kind of flip flopping. I did see Investors Place put out a bullish article. I haven't seen any other ones out, but either way, I think you're right too. It did look like I was pointing out, I think on Friday, that it looked like Susquehanna went long, and they were originally on the other side. If you look at, I think yesterday, I also noticed that Jane Street, um, who was another big shorter of this stock, went long. So 1.4 million in puts, but they increased their call position by 370% and increased their shares as well a little bit. So they definitely flipped the script and went long here. And Jane Street was another one that was short the stock. So it could be Citadel, on the other hand. Looks like they increased their calls and their puts and their shares. And to me, this even looks like a long position now. So it does look like a lot of them are starting to flip the script and start to go long on this stock. We saw Credit Suisse place an order the other day. We also saw, there they are right there. Um, we also saw JP Morgan go long. So if that's the case and these companies are starting to go long, yeah, it could be that they're ready to go ride the gamma squeeze up with us. And that's something that I've continuously talked about on here is like, you know, and yeah, you could catch some hedge funds and things like that off guard. I think they were definitely caught off guard on the first GameStop run up, but at the same time, I think these guys when they're ready to, and they feel like they need to, they'll just flip it up and switch the position, switch the narrative, start getting some positive media written about a stock, and now that they were able to accumulate it at a lower price, and they're just gonna ride it up and make money on the other way as they cover. Um, Lisa says, look at PMCB. Oh wow, that's another one that's running right now. Okay. It fell below VWAP right here. Looks like it's getting a ton of volume in pre-market, and definitely trending upwards and kind of holding this moving average. So if this thing breaks through VWAP right now, I could see it making another little run, trying to get to this previous high of 7. Up tremendously though. I mean, it's almost doubled now. It looks like. Not sure what the news on that one is. PMCB. The next recent IPO runner, like FLGC, I think it's likely tiny market cap. Um, NASDAQ uplisting. Okay. Board AZ says, call the Gamma Lance. Peter Meekus. Good morning, coach and the crew. Jose, if we close above 9 today, tomorrow explodes. That's what I'm thinking too. Leo, what's up? Good morning. Tibbs, good morning. Blitzkrieg. Deep in the 10Q, there is an interesting phenomenon. 6-month ending June 30th. If you add G&A and salaries, you get a 2.8 ratio to revenue. Might be too early for me to really get into that. Tarheel, I'm not looking that one up. We'll save that for your show. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Zeke Bleak dropping Clovers in the chat. And I think Ghost is coming in right now. I'm going to set up my monitor to get to. How did I get that the other day? He was on here the other day, and I had it set up to where. Oh, there we go. That way it was bigger. Let me get this set up real quick, guys. So scene window. There we go. I need to unlock this. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it, because there's going to be two people. And we'll make CLOV nice and big on here. And then I'll get some other stocks going down here. There's the SPY. Right now, DraftKings isn't looking too hot. Let's see, I'll pull AMC up for today, unless you guys want to look at something else. Let's see. Fred says, good morning, coach. Good morning, Fred. Claude says, if they let it ride up, can short squeeze still happen? You know, it's one of those things. Like there's still people short the stock. I mean, there's still 54 million shares short the stock, right? But I have a funny feeling. And there's still however many naked shorts selling, however much FTDs need to be covered. There's so much short interest in the stock that, yeah, I mean, there's still, if all of a sudden this stock was to explode up on a gamma squeeze, that's going to put a lot of short positions in a lot of pain, where they're going to probably want to cover as well, which will help propel the stock up even more. And likely what'll end up happening is, and this is just my opinion, I could be totally wrong, once we kind of top out, you'll see shorts start to pile on there. So let's say we top out at 80 on a gamma squeeze / short squeeze or something like that. And then shorts will just pile in because now the stock's overvalued, right? And they'll ride the stock back down. There'll be a ton of short interest in it. We'll find a new bottom somewhere, and the process starts over again. And then you buy in at the bottom and you ride it right back up, maybe 2-3 months later. That's the way I see it playing out. That's kind of how, where it just kind of keeps, climbing up like that huge rip. And then, kind of like a huge rip and then come settle back down. Huge rip, settle back down. Or it could just be one huge explosive move like GameStop had. But even then, what happened, right? It shot up to 480. It got suppressed and cut short of that. But, they shorted it all the way back down to 40, and then and then people piled back in, retail came flying back in, and now we've seen it run back up to 350 a couple times. Currently trading at 160 range. So yeah, I honestly, I mean, this has been, I've been investing for a long time. I've been trading for a long time. But this is hold on, let me text Ghost real quick. Yeah, I mean, I got a ton of experience in the markets, but in terms of like squeeze plays and this sort of thing, I mean, really, you can only compare it to some of the. I mean, squeezes happen every day, right? Every single day, you'll see a short squeeze. You'll see a stock that's got high short interest. A bunch of people pop in, or maybe there's a catalyst or something happens, a gamma squeeze, and a stock will take off. We see these huge runners all the time. So but I don't think anyone knows how high something's going to go, what's going to happen, especially with like this whole meme stock phenomenon that basically started up this year. I mean, yeah, Tesla, I think was kind of like the true original meme stock. But even that played out a lot different than the type of retail interest and momentum that we've seen pop into a lot of these other ones. So, yeah, I don't know. J Stat says first time watching live. Have caught you with Tarheel Blue a lot. Right on. I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate the support. JF, what's up? Good morning. Robin says, "Hey man, I hope you're well. What's up with the iBorrow decimal numbers adding then dropping 3.3 million shares?" I did not look at iBorrow this morning. So this is as of yesterday, 3.7 million. And okay, yeah, so 3.3 million shares were borrowed today apparently. Um yeah, I mean, there's no more shares available pretty much, just 400,000 shares available on iBorrow, but that's only reporting from like one broker. So there's still a ton of other brokers out there too. Um let's see here. Here comes Ghost. So Ghost is coming in right now. Here we go. Let's see here. Says Ghost is in the green room. I'm gonna try to add you right now. Add left. What's up, Ghost? Can you hear us?
Yeah, what's going on, Coach?
All right, you sounding good too. Um, all right. So those of you guys that don't know, this Ghost here, this is actually third time on the show. He came on last week, I think on Tuesday, and then again on Thursday. Dude's been dropping some great knowledge on the Reddit, the subreddit, the Clove subreddit. Just opened up a little Twitter account too. What's the Twitter account if anyone wants to follow you?
It is at Ghost AF and then the number 5.
At Ghost AF 5 on on Twitter. I'm just throwing that in the chat just so
I
anyone can
appreciate it.
go in
I
there. So
appreciate
how you doing this
it. What's
morning?
up, everybody? Man, I'm good, dude. Got locked out the iPad real quick, and I was like, okay, log on to Wifey's real quick. I'm up and running now. Feel extra good. I feel good right now, Coach. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I like the hair too. I see a couple people in the chat saying that as well. Is that new? I
No, you know what it is? I'm always wearing my Steelers hat.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had the hat on last time, so it was hard to tell. Let me see if
Yeah,
I can
no,
make this a
I've
little
had
bit
this.
bigger too.
I've had this since the quarantine life, man.
Nice.
I had to
Yeah.
have fun. Last time I could go all out. You know what I mean?
My son's the opposite. So when we went on quarantine in March, he he hasn't cut his hair since. So
That's
he's got his hair hell long, and he's got to cut it because he starts school on Monday. But it's the exact opposite. When we went on quarantine, he's like, "Man, I'm not getting a haircut." That's my youngest one. But yeah,
man.
that
I
that
still envy you for that. You got the sons and everything, man. I envy you, bro. I'm gonna have these 3 angels going in. I got a decade to have fun. That's it. Decade to have fun. How do I get this chat up, man? I want to show some love to everybody out there, man. Showing us some love.
Okay, so on the screen that you're on right now, you could click the little chat bubble, but what I like doing is I'll pull up the actual YouTube channel. Like whenever I've been on Tar Heels, I'll pull it up on YouTube, and then click on the chat in the right corner and just click pop out chat. And then it'll open up a separate window for a pop out chat. So whichever way is easier for you. But that's typically what I'll do is do the pop out chat because then you could like set it to live chat and actually see it as it's coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it now. Perfect. I just keep it up on my other screen. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. I know a lot of people wanted this to happen right now with Clove, man. I don't know where you started, where you left off, so I'm just jumping in. But I know a lot of people wanted to see Clove already just burst out the scenes. And I had a feeling this would happen. I really did, man. There's just so much traffic for August 20th with this call game, man. I'm just thinking like in the back of my mind, is it a chance? They got one last chance to really, capitalize on calls expiring, worthless. The volume, I've never seen it personally like this in my life. And I've been on some squeeze plays before, but I've never seen. I think I read something yesterday that said over $1 billion, almost $1 billion in OI.
In You talking about on the dark pool or $1 billion? What?
in the call and puts and calls for August
Oh
20th.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The options chain. Yeah, like this option chain is, it's all relative, right? Like if you look at AMC and you compare AMC's option chain, you're gonna, because I've had this conversation with other people and they're like, man, there's way more calls on the AMC chain. Well, it's different, right? Because of the float.
Per
It's all
call.
relative to the float. So,
Yeah,
if you have a float that's 5 times what Clove is, then in order for you to see a gamma squeeze, you need to see 5 times as much call volume. Same thing
exactly.
with and then also like stock price has a play in that. All market cap, all that kind of stuff too. Like so, when you look at a stock like GameStop, for instance, what I think like a third of the float of what we have for Clove, so they only need like a third of the call volume to get to that kind of like. But what I've noticed, so last time when we had our gamma squeeze in June, um, what I noticed at least was, on the actual monthly expiration, like on this August 20th date, for instance,
Right.
really the what kicked it off was having at least 10,000 calls over puts at every dollar price. Meaning, and so, if you look at that, that's kind of what we have here at the $9 strike, 28,000 to 5,000. So that's 23,000 differential. And really all we had at the other one was about 10,000 at each strike, but it went through the entire chain. Um, and same thing, 32,000 at
That's
10, outweighing 8, so that's a differential of 24,000. You go to the 11, 19 to 2, so that's a difference of 17,000. And I'm skipping over these 50 cent ones. They all also play a role and a factor in it too, but I mean, it's just all the way through the chain. Now, you're missing some numbers way up here. But once you get way up here, you got to figure all of these shares back here are going to be, fully hedged. And so
absolutely,
it's going to be enough to kind of drive you all the way through. Um,
absolutely. I think when we'll actually see, price increase, and I'm not talking about like doubling up 100% in one day, 50%. I'm not going to be too speculative with that realm, but I'm saying as far as like this not looking back, for some time. The $8, man, I couldn't believe I got a chance to get more. I swear to God, it seems like every single time something occurs, I'm like, damn, okay, that's it. I gotta just be happy with what I have. And then sure enough, I look and I'm like, all right, let me look deep into this. That was kind of the DD I posted yesterday, which I kind of look at more as a discussion, to be honest with you. I'm saying, is the train leaving the station, next week, or are we launching off? Are we taking off the launch pad this week?
yeah.
And I think that if you go back to looking at the last time it squeezed to 28, it was that Friday where we saw a pretty decent uptick, and then that Monday came, we saw an even higher uptick before it started to go nuts that next couple of days. And I think that's in part to the market makers having to hedge and having to actually purchase the percentage of shares to make sure that they're good just in case it occurs, at the end of the day. So
No, I agree. I could see that too. Like even if we just kind of close strong above 9 or 10 this week, that's not going to help this week's option chain. That's going to be great for us, for as shareholders. It'll get and it'll kind of get us above that max pain, break out of that max pain area we've been in, and could potentially, like you're saying, set us up now that we've broken through, and they can't pin the stock price anymore. Now we got something to work with in the future week. Absolutely. I know Daniel, I know you put this up here twice, so I'm going to real quick too. Co-creator, what's up? I seen you in the chat. Good morning. So Daniel, I saw you comment this twice, and I just want to and even Ghost, you can address this too. You said, how's Clove look for today? Getting nervous sitting on 14,500 shares. For me, if you're sitting on shares, they don't expire. That's just my take. We're sitting at the bottom right now. So like we're at this 825 range. They've been trying to suppress this price for, for a long time, but trying to get it below 8 since July 15th and unsuccessfully. So, I think this is the buy zone. This is where you want to be buying this stock. This is obviously this isn't financial advice, but this is where, for me, we want. I should put that on there too. Where you want to be accumulating. You want to be. I don't know what your cost basis is, but regardless, this isn't
I was gonna say
this
that.
isn't the sell zone, right? No matter what your cost basis is, I don't see this stock going lower. You agree with that, or you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. I mean, if you're in a position where you could lower your median, I mean, I don't see, and you have resources, mind you. Like I always try and make sure that people understand when I say this. Your risk versus reward is your risk versus reward. Whether you want to get financial advice or not, it doesn't make any sense. You have to actually ask yourself because no one really knows your budget. I mean, if you have resources that you're able to deploy, I think it's extremely important to lower your your median. I mean, DCA all the way down if possible. But if you're already at a threshold where you said you're feeling nervous, look, I don't mind you. This has been treacherous for a lot of people, but you really got to go back to thinking, when did you make this first purchase? I mean, if it's just a couple of months ago, I hate to say it in a negative tone, but like, what do you expect, right? Like, we can't expect to purchase a company, a stock in a company, and it's just gonna pop because it's a high squeeze candidate. We gotta understand the risk versus reward, and we gotta factor in time. So I think if you have time, because you have shares in this case, and I think if you're in a position where you can lower your median in the process of relating, I think for me that's a no-brainer. I've been doing it the whole time personally. I just put a little limit in every day when I'm looking at the action. It's a couple buy points that I think make sense, and if it goes through, it goes through.
Yeah, no,
You
that's
know,
a great point too, and I'm glad you brought that up in terms of like it depends on what everybody else's risk tolerance is and all that, and even just to add on to that, I know I've said it many times, but if you got into this, if anybody got into this as a squeeze play and now they're feeling nervous, like even bought somewhere back on June 8th and they're up above $20, I guess what I'm getting at is I think of all the squeeze plays, and again, I'm not saying which one's going to go the highest or which one's going to explode faster or anything like that. I think Clove is the safest one to be an investor in because this is a company that's grossly undervalued in it. And just as many people that are sitting in this stock for the squeeze are also were in this stock before as an investment. That like this Clove subreddit
yeah,
started with people that weren't looking at a squeeze or a gamma squeeze or anything, and there was 10,000 members in
exactly.
there that looked at this as, hey, why is this stock trading below $10 when it should be trading in the $20 to $30 range? So no matter where your cost basis is right now, even if you bought at the top at 28, um, this stock's going to get you back there, and I think sooner than later, with or without a squeeze.
That's my outtake. I mean, I looked at it a lot of things. I looked at the team behind it. What exactly is it trying to accomplish? I looked at the price. I mean, look, there's a lot of buy zones on a lot of different stocks in this world. It's not just Clove. But when you factor in every element that it comes down to, that's where my risk versus reward is a no brainer. I have 95 to 98% shares. Even the calls I have are for 2023. Why? Because when I purchased them, I wasn't thinking of the squeeze. I was just thinking in 2023, it's going to be a nice come up. If I'm wrong, maybe I'll sell the calls along the way. If I'm right, I'll probably execute those shares as well. A lot of people, I'm getting messages and what have you, and they're like, "Oh, what's your sellout? What's your zone? $30? Is it $20? Like, where's your?" I tell everyone the same thing. I swear to you, I personally don't have any intent on getting rid of my shares. Maybe the 25 calls I'll execute or get rid of depending on circumstances. But even if, I mean, if it explodes, then yeah, maybe I'll cut 2 to 5% personally, as it goes up the ladder. But I believe personally, if you have conviction in the corporation that you're investing in, the squeeze shouldn't really make too big of a difference. Like I remember when there's a couple of companies that were kind of volatile for me, and it would alter my entire portfolio, like beyond belief. I didn't like it. I know it sounds silly, but I really genuinely didn't like it. It was like one day I'm up, one day I'm down, and then I would look at why, what's going on. The market's either overall green or the market's overall red, and it's not aligning with my portfolio. And it's because of the volatility that I was faced with. But even then, I had an intent of investing. I wasn't trading. I'm not trading CLOV. I know a lot of people are, though. And if you're trading CLOV, it comes down to your risk versus your reward. That's the threshold. I think the risk is extremely low on so many factors of entry point, adding shares at this point in time, fundamentals. I mean, I can't stop talking about it personally. To see the guidance that they ripped out and the revenue that they ripped out on the second quarter, I didn't expect that, that amount of that. Coach, the last time I was on your show prior to earnings, I straight up said, I think that they'll surprise us and have $1 billion in revenue by the end of year. I
Yeah.
said, and I said it with confidence. And I
hey,
know we were at
hey, hey.
700 or so.
And they're talking about Clover
One
assistants that can
five?
manage over $1 billion. You know,
Perfect.
so and that's just Clover assistance. So yeah. Hey, so a couple things. I was trying to keep up with the chat while you were talking. Somebody said, "Where's it at?" And I got a kick out of this just because I used to watch Sons of Anarchy. My lady just said that you remind her of Juice from Sons of Anarchy. With
And
that,
I hit up Biker Dan. He had posted in the shenanigans on Discord. Biker Dan in his bike in his motorcycle, and I'm like, man, like that's funny. I gave the Sons of Anarchy to him too. That's funny, man. That's funny. I get a lot of things with the Mohawk. I think a lot of people get surprised when they see me with a Mohawk, especially the people I've known for years. I've only rocked it one other time. This is the longest my Mohawk has ever been. If I pull it down, it's probably to my lip, if not even longer at this point. It's just wrapped
damn.
up real early, you know? But
Yep.
yeah,
All right.
it's fun.
Jose posted. I know I was looking through. Some people had asked, can you post Ghost Twitter again? So Jose put that in the chat for us. It's Ghost AF5. That's his Twitter account. If you can go drop him a follow. And then let me keep looking in here.
I want to give a lot of love to a lot of people real quick, if you don't mind, man, because
Yeah,
every
go
single
ahead.
time I've ever streamed, I just see the ghost light up the chat, and I swear to you, I never thought I'd see so much love from individuals at the time I did not know. And there's the Tibbs, obviously, those love Zeke, Leak, you know, the list goes on. I mean, I'm looking through here, and it's just like, wow. Just off top, co-creators always in saying what's up. DJ Tardis, I mean, Scotty Z. I always say Scotty Too Hottie. I love this guy. He's hilarious. Levi's always saying what's up. Chef Daddy. I'm seeing THB in here right now. What's up, Tarheel? My brother, man. That's my brother, you guys. I swear to you, it's my long lost brother. I miss him to death, and I
Yeah, you
see
were
him now.
saying. I remember you were saying that very first day you came on the show that you had
I'm not
a
joking.
brother that looked just like him.
I swear to you, I know it sounds like I'm being funny, bro. There's people that I know my brother, and I've been like, yo, please check this dude's channel out and tell me who he reminds you of. Your brother, Doug? That's Jay Lou. What's up? What? That's crazy. And to think that he lived in North Carolina at one point, and I visited him in North Carolina. I was next to THB at one point, not even probably knowing it. But I'm telling you right now, he looks more like my brother than I do. To put it that way, he looks like a twin to my brother. I don't look like my brother, obviously. Obviously. You can see the facial features in some, pictures,
Yeah.
depending on like the clarity and certain features. But for the most part, nah, man. Ectab always, Ego always, your pal Al always, Moto always. Man, you guys, I appreciate you guys, man. I love that you guys come and hang out with us, man. It makes it so much more fun when I see every single person engaged, man. Uh, we got something coming up soon, Coach. We got something coming up soon, man. I
Yeah,
think it's about time.
without talking about it too much, me and Ghost, after last Thursday, we've been talking, and we're gonna, probably start putting together some show coming out soon, with me and him, Coach and Ghost, and so actually on that note, you do have a YouTube account right now, right?
You know what I do actually? I
So
just made it yesterday, the other day.
yeah, if you want to drop your the actual YouTube, what your YouTube account is in the chat, like just your I guess the name or the channel, I guess, because if you guys can go out and subscribe to Ghost now, there's no content on there. But if you subscribe to the channel, once me and him get this going, which we're still in the works, but we are gonna do this. We're gonna partner up on something coming up, and so go drop him a follow on YouTube too. Let's try to get the subscriber base up already before we even get the thing rolling.
That'd be amazing, by the way. I am ghost_AF. I just posted it in the chat. It kind of looks funny because it looks like I'm at myself, but I am ghost_AF.
I want to see if I could, like, just out of curiosity. So if I go to YouTube and search that, will I come across your channel? I am Ghost AF.
Does it pull up anything?
Nah.
I just seen something so funny. Josh Tetris, and down she goes. So
Yeah,
obvious they're gonna hit us in that AM, man. It's hilarious at this point.
it didn't come up, but maybe we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out later. Maybe you know, next time you come on, we'll have it set up, and I'll throw the link into the actual video so that everybody could just jump on it and stuff. G Surin says shout out from Singapore. Right on.
Signup. That's beautiful. Coach is internationally known.
Man, I talked about this in the past. Like, it's just so crazy that, you know, there's Target short sellers coming in from Belgium. There's people in the UK. You know, we got people coming in from basically all over, man. And it's crazy. So a couple other comments I wanted to bring up real quick. Stars said this a couple times, so I started a little while ago, but it says Ghost Coach, wasn't ATOS loaded up like this on the option chain? I don't know if you remember ATOS. I actually played ATOS, so I could answer it if you wanted to jump in on that. You can, but
yeah, no, you go ahead and handle that one first.
So the ATOS, yeah, I mean, I had, you know, tried to play a little gamma squeeze on ATOS because I saw the option chain was loaded. The stock was kind of primed for a nice move. And when you put that in there, I went and looked where it's at right now. But yeah, ATOS had a smaller float, I believe, than
I didn't get into ATOS.
Yeah. No, I had made a couple videos on it. I want to say back in middle of June, because there was some potential for a gamma squeeze in ATOS, and I played it. It didn't pan out, and a lot of times with these gamma squeezes, they don't. You know, but you know, like with the play like ATOS, I was just getting in for the gamma squeeze, so I jumped into it to see if it would hit. It didn't. Move on, right? You know, and so you really want to be careful when you're just playing a gamma squeeze not to go too crazy, because it doesn't always pan out. And I think I've been talking about that too. But like, so for instance, like with Clover right now, I have my long-term position, I have my shares, you know, I'm those don't expire, right? But now when these opportunities pop up like this week for a gamma squeeze, hell yeah, I'll go in there and go on the option chain and go buy some short dated calls. I mean, shit, even right now, if you look at the option chain on Clove, and I'm not advocating for anybody to do this, but again, you can get the $12 strike right now for $2. You know, probably because, and I'm saying $2, like it's 2 cents. So for $2, you could buy a $12 contract for Clove. It's that cheap because it's probably not going to happen. But right, for $20, you basically get the price action of 1,000 shares. So when you see a gamma squeeze potential like we have right now, you know, throw $20 at it. And if it happens, you're going to be glad you did, because if we blow to 43, every one of those call contracts is going to be worth about $3,000. So you just turn $20 into, you know, what, $30,000? You know, that's the type of potential that you have. So whenever I see that potential in a stock, like that ATOS one back in June, it's like, yeah, I'll go throw $30-$40 in there. You know, or I think ATOS I threw like $200 because I was trying to go, I was going for it. I was swinging for the fences, but it didn't work out. It's like,
the risk,
you know,
The
But
risk is worth the
those are
reward, and
more
that.
gambles, right? That's more gambling. That's it, and you got to have. I think everybody has to have that balance. Some people don't want to gamble at all, and that's fine. Just buy the shares, and I can't fault you with that. But at the same time, if once you kind of learn how options work and stuff, and you want to just go in and buy a couple calls, when the one play hits, it makes it worthwhile.
So I think I figured it out. By the way, I mean, look, it's one thing if it's kind of like horse racing. It's like if you want to throw out a few different combinations of winning horses. You could do a couple different benchmarks and a couple different squeeze plays and a couple different strike zones and kind of just see if any of them hit. I mean, a lot of people are in the state of mind if one hits, I'm good. And that's that to me. That's definitely your risk versus reward in a sense. If you got maybe 2% of your portfolio that you just allocate that to, or maybe a percentage of your income, 1% of your check every check, you want to throw those kind of things out, or 5% of your check, your paycheck every week, you want to throw those things out. I mean, I think it's fun, right? I think that's what you got to go into it thinking, like a gamble. There's a
Yeah,
chance you probably won't win, but at least it's fun, it's interesting, it gives you something to kind of have fun with. You know what I mean, so to speak.
absolutely. You go to a casino, you go throw whatever you like to play. If you throw some money down on the roulette table, or if you stick a bill in a slot machine, or whatever you're doing, that's the way I approach like the gamma squeezes. It's like shit. This opportunity's there on this particular play. $2 a call. All right. Well, shit. I could buy about five of them. That's $10. You know what I mean? And if it
Right.
happens, it happens. You're gonna be happy you did it. And when it doesn't, you just got to look at it like buying a lotto ticket. That one didn't play out. You know what I mean?
A
It,
hundred
it,
percent.
that's how I look at it. Hey, so one that I want to get to. So BTFD said a little while ago. Fact set confirmed. Short sights float data is wrong. Okay, so I haven't seen that yet, but we've been seeing a lot of questions come in because the float data that's been out there. I mean, it looked like yesterday everybody was reporting a ton of different numbers. Ortex even has the float now. They basically lowered the estimated short interest to 16%. Because they're saying that the free float's larger, so that's going to lower the percentage. Um,
Right.
like I know I said
I,
earlier, I'm
I
sure
thought this as
Trades
well.
is.
I thought this as well. Me and THB were talking about it on his channel, I believe. It might even been offline, but we were talking about how there's a good chance that the whole Green Oaks mishap, and they didn't understand how many shares were Class A or if they were Class B. And look, that was an excuse a while ago. It's getting to the point now where it's like, listen, there's got to be a little bit of transparency. There's got to be someone out there that can actually determine, rightfully so, our knowledge. We should have somewhat of knowledge, at least to get the facts straight. It was even like this with institutional ownership, was all over the place here, and it's just funny to me. It's just there's a lot of odd factors to me that just strengthens my conviction for it.
Yeah,
If every number is all twacked out, there's a lot of algorithms that are going haywire at this point. It's a matter of when versus if.
no, absolutely. I mean, it almost strengthens your conviction, like you said. But it's
Yeah.
like if all of a sudden they're reporting all this, why are all these different places throwing off the float data, which makes it look like it's not high short interest? It's almost like it's intentional, which makes you feel even stronger. Like, okay, this is a squeeze. This is coming. You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
like it has the opposite effect of what they're trying to get
to
to.
me, this is what that's the factor that strengthens the conviction. I mean, think about it. When you see a FUD article and you read it, and you're like, "What? That made no sense at all." You're telling me that you're thinking this company lost money, and that's a big deal when they just blew out revenue. I mean, it's a hyper growth company. You crazy? So that same concept of like they don't want me to own these shares right now. That feeling. When I get that feeling, hey, I've been like this since a child. That shit just makes me want it more. Like, don't blame.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Nah, absolutely, man. Um, Let me see here. Xander, I pulled this up. I know this is hella old, but I was talking about Clove having 10,000 members back before the squeeze. He's saying it was barely 1,000 when he got in, and it's grown like crazy. Yeah, the community on the Clove subreddit is I don't remember how many members there were. I know I was in before 10,000 for sure. This was
I think
dating
there's like
back to like
40. There's almost 42K, I think, right now.
yeah, there's somewhere like 42K, but it's been um there was Al Trades has been in for a long time. I remember him. He's one of the few people that I really remember from back like posting back in April and pre-April and stuff. But this community's been going for a while, and I guess what I was getting at with that was just like there's this isn't just a squeeze play. Like this is a fundamentally, and I know we've talked about it, but this is a fundamentally sound play. I mean, it's grossly undervalued. This is a millionaire maker stock without a squeeze. You hold your shares long enough, it will pay off. Also, one more thing I want to throw up here. Co-creator says Clove family came in on Champion Vibe channel strong last night. Anyone who hasn't
Hey,
checked out Champion Vibe, he streams every night. He covers other stocks, kind of like how I do too, but he does a lot of technical analysis. So
hey, that
every
was the
night
first
he goes
time.
over everything, and he'll go over Clove.
That was the first time I caught a live stream. Man, like he digitally, like appealing to the eye. I mean, this dude's sharp as a tack. And then as he's breaking things down, the way he explains it, man, he's got a bright future, man. That was fun last night to watch, his work. Because normally, I'm watching videos right now, and individuals talking about Clove, and he obviously, like you, he talks about a lot of different other plays in a sense as well. And just the way he reads charts and the way his knowledge is behind that, man. Shout out to Champ Vibe, man, for real. Like that he's gonna be something special as he already is, but he's got a lot of potential, man, to make this game respect him. You know what I mean? He brought up one of the most interesting charts that I never heard of. Wyckoff accumulation. I had never heard of it at the time, and he brought it up, and it kind of like gave me that conviction again, where I'm like, yeah, man, I'm starting to really get the feeling like these hedge funds they want to little by little start getting out of these shorts and kind of close out some of these positions and start to get to the point of a reversal moving forward. And it comes down to a couple things to me that I noticed when the fails to deliver came out. I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Monday. Fails to deliver came out, and we saw in every single fails to deliver at one point or another within that 2-week reporting cycle, there was a new all-time high of fails to deliver. Right? It went from like a quarter mil to 1.78 mil back in June, all of June. Touched 5 mil at some point along the lines in June. In July, it got all the way up to we saw 19, or I'm sorry, yeah, in July, 19 million. And then this was the first time to close out July that I saw the peak, I think, was right around 1.4, 1.5 of fails to deliver, at least on paper, what they're reporting, right?
Yeah.
And as I'm looking at that, I'm like, there's no way that money makers or market makers, MMs, are not having hard times finding shares at this point. There's no way, unless they're starting to kind of dwindle down. And I know there's a couple different, you know, theories in regards to if hedge funds ever do reverse course and go long. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's very common that hedge funds, when it comes to an IPO or especially a SPAC, they like to put hit pieces out, short the company prior to putting a hit piece out, and then watch it drop a dip or drop enough for them to cash out and make some money. Sometimes they get greedy. I think they get their hand caught in the cookie jar, so to speak. And I think at that point, once earnings start to come and they start to prove themselves, why not reverse? You already made so much money on the way down.
Yep.
So I think that's what's taking place, and that the way he broke down that chart and the way you can kind of see it, I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. And we're
I
seeing all the
really do.
institutional buying coming in right now, and it's like they want to slam it down, get in at the cheapest price possible, and then be able to ride it up. We are testing 8 right now. Thomas pointed out it's always stressful to test 8. I agree. We get down to this. I have this red line drawn here. I have for about a month because we keep every day, intraday, we kind of come down here and test this thing. Um,
Let me load up my account real quick.
Also, co-creator says eight's definitely the bottom. Degenerate, I
Yeah.
saw you in there talking about he brought up a couple points right now while you were talking. He said, consider this. Shamath reserved IPO A through Z for SPACs. He picked Clover as his third. Even more wild when you go to Social Capital's page and see how many companies he has to pick from. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is Degenerate was talking about body. Yesterday on this group chat we have. He was talking about once Clove ends, what are some other stocks we want to look into, and Body was one that he had called out yesterday. It's starting to move today, and I agree. It's funny. I know L Train was saying the same thing. We were talking about how his wife was telling him Body's like she basically L Train's wife basically told him like don't mess with Wish. Their products are shit, this and that. But she gave him the stamp of approval on Body. And I had mentioned my wife's been a subscriber of that Beach Body as well for a long time, and I've seen their product and they're streaming stuff and it's pretty good. So I'm intrigued by it. I'm gonna look into it. I don't know if you're familiar with the stock at all. I don't
I
know much about the
actually, yeah.
stock or the price action of it, but it looks like it's on its way up, and
The only
definitely.
thing that kind of bugs me out with services that are like streaming, especially like that workout fit, there it's almost like streaming platforms. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Like I got the Bowflex, whatever the bike thing that you can kind of like hit to the left and right or whatever as well, and they stream. They got their streaming service obviously through Bowflex, and I think the play is solid, but I need to see a little bit more. Not so much from a chart standpoint. I want to see a little bit more from like an earnings standpoint and what they're actually bringing in revenue wise, and do more research before I get into too much depth about that play entirely.
Oh
But
yeah,
I
me
mean,
too. I
dude,
mean,
if
I definitely want to look into. We were just talking about like same thing. Like, what is there any plays out there that are undervalued and trading below? And I think Degenerate brought up a great point too. He's just like, man, it's with COVID potentially coming back and gyms may be shutting down. You're gonna see the rise in a lot of the
yeah,
gyms. Or he just said that in the chat too. Gyms shut down, and now all of a
that,
sudden,
that's where I was going. I said if this Delta variant is just that little quick, pump fake, all of a sudden I could see the pressure on this. I mean, I'm looking at companies like Penn right now. I got into Penn I think at like 16, and this thing pushed to 149. And so for me, almost a momentum trade in a sense. I've had my eye on it hard. It's in the 60s right now, and you look at their revenue to what their market cap is. You're like, what? And they have online sports gambling as well. So it's not like if this Delta variant gets out of hand, they wouldn't they wouldn't be okay. You know what I mean? They're already bringing in a lot of revenue as these states become more legal, like the DraftKings type of play. So I actually really like Penn right now. That's the one I'm looking at hard for like
okay,
a solid bounce back hard. I mean, 66. This thing went from I've seen it with my own eyes go from 3 to basically just nonstop up to 149. And to see that 66 was like I seen that last week. I was already kind of thinking about it when it was in the 80s, coach. And
yeah.
I've been so reluctant to buy any shares of them because I think I bought 150 back in the day, like March lows, and then seeing this thing push all the way up to 36 at the time was its all-time high. I sold 70 of them and I was like, all right, I'll let these 80 roll. They're free. I felt so stupid and crunchy seeing this shit run as far as it did. These are some of the lessons I've learned why I only hedge 2 to 5 off the top when it's bull run, when it's in a bull run, because you just never know how far up it's going.
Yeah. I mean, but you always got to take profits. I did see that back in March. It was at $4. Damn.
I swear to you. I
This is
swear
way
to you.
back. I know I jumped in somewhere around here in November. I don't think I got in below 50. It was probably like $60. This is back in November, but I sold somewhere around $100. I wasn't part of the whole run on Penn, but I also think like there's something to, and I know me and you talked about this with in regards to DraftKings, but even like how you're saying right now with Penn, football season's around the corner, and for the
Exactly.
U.S., football season is the highest bet on sport. So when it comes to like sports betting, and I like DraftKings from the standpoint of the daily fantasy sports as well, because that's kind of their bread and butter. But then with the sports gambling, and I think that also goes into like a COVID play, right? Because if
Yes.
all of a sudden casinos get shut down, you're going to have to be gambling from your phone. And and then you also have that gambling's expanding, right? And getting approved. All these other states want to take advantage of it for tax purposes.
And let's
So,
not forget they're international. So when you're dealing with international, you don't have the restrictions like you do in the states. Like a lot of times people had this, facade of, oh, they're never going to make Cali legal though. You have so many states that they're going to just be red states and never go legal. Hey, listen,
yeah.
maybe, you know what I mean? But at the same token, they have that fantasy play as well. I talk a lot about DraftKings. A lot of people are like, he's promoting it. No, I promise you, I've already bought my DraftKings. Second largest in my portfolio when I went in on DraftKings, Tesla and DraftKings. And I've trimmed a little by little when they broke their 75. I've trimmed little by little at the 50 range. To be quite honest with you, I trimmed a little bit yesterday just for our beauty queen over here in CLOV. So I think Penn is a solid play. Coming up from it, for me. It's a play where I'm watching a little bit more now as this Delta kind of does things, but I have about a 63, 62 range that I'm definitely going to hit a nice chunk out back into it because
Okay.
their model's proven at this point. You know what I mean? I mean, they have so many land-based casinos. It's disturbing. And then when they partnered up with Barstools and you got Dave Portnoy and their gang, and basically save a lot of money on marketing and still acquire a lot of clients and a lot of new people based upon as these states open as well from that fan base they already have. I think it's inevitable that they're just going to continue to grow in that aspect of it. But I think also come February, that's the time I probably trim it. I think it's a play from like an August to February. You know what I mean? I think it's like a good 6 month term.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I agree. Like even with I kind of let me pull this up real quick just so we can appear on the bigger chart. But like DraftKings, and I know that's one that you've been in a lot longer than I have. I jumped in somewhere around here. I think this is probably about it's almost been a month now. And there's been some nice movement. I think, in terms of if anybody wanted to get in, it looks like it just went on this little fall, and it's maybe finding support off some of these moving averages. But the play for me is riding this thing into football season and potentially seeing, their earnings. They I think they report earnings sometime in November, but really their February earnings is where I could see, the real build up to.
exactly.
I don't know if I would hold into February earnings, but if you kind of hold this stock from now to then,
I would.
I could see it potentially trading for like 80 or $90 at that point, maybe higher than that, depending on, what their outlook is after their
This,
November earnings call.
in my opinion, you heard it right now. You could save this shit. I think in February, after their earnings in February, regardless, we got to keep in mind Delta, obviously. If there's a crazy ass variant that's disrupting their land based casinos, sure, I can see this being different. But if Delta doesn't get out of hand, which I believe it won't, I believe they'll be well over $100 yet again, even test its all-time highs again come February because nothing's changed with their model for them to drop from the 140. Look, they were a bit overvalued at 149 or whatever they were. Don't get it misconstrued, but you got to look at their revenue. You got to look at their profitable already. I mean, there's every single thing points. Let me pull it up just so I'm not talking out my ass real quick, but I'm looking at last year. So 2019, before Barstool's partnership, they had 5.3 billion in revenue, and they were about 44 million profits. Right. 2020 pandemic, no land-based casinos, 670 mil they lost. That's it, 670 mil. They still had 3.6 billion dollars in revenue and they were all land-based at the time. It's like what are we talking about here? Now they
Yeah.
bring out their new first time they broke I think $1 billion in one quarter or 1 point. It was their largest quarter. Might have been 1.5 billion in the first quarter of the year, and that was that Super Bowl numbers having a huge impact. So you better believe by the end of February, I believe that that breaks 100 no problem and could even break its all-time high if the Delta variant doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah, and see, like, so with me, right? So sometimes the buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So,
Yeah.
um, and that doesn't always play out that way. There's especially like this last earnings run, we saw some stocks that actually took off after earnings, but a lot of times what you end up seeing is, um, to me, where I would get scared is like with Penn or DraftKings. If all of a sudden it just started ripping going into earnings, then it's like the earnings come
Yeah.
out and all of a sudden you get that rug pull, so that's where
Yeah.
you kind of got to play it, right? So if all of a sudden
Yes.
it's, you know, in December to February to early February or the end of January, the thing is just climbing like crazy, then I would want to get out before
Yeah.
that earnings call, because no
Yeah.
matter
If you're
what happens on
anywhere,
that earnings call, you're going to see people just dumping and taking profit. Um, it just it's one of those things. How much profit are you into? Like you talk about last time, shaving a little off the top. Make sure you protect your investment. And maybe it's even one of those things where if you still want to hold long term, hedge, right? So let's say you hold a bunch of shares and moving into that February earnings, maybe you just buy some puts, and that way if you do
hedge it.
get slammed right off the earnings, now you can make a little profit there and still hold on to your shares. I mean,
I
that's
can see
always a
that.
strong play too.
I can
Um,
see that actually. I can see that. I think they're definitely in a buy zone though. I've been looking at that one for a while. I think there's another one too that I'm eyeing hard right now. Digital Turbine apps.
huh.
This company apps. So they're like the Shopify. They kind of bridge the gap between a consumer and the product based upon like a Shopify, but more from a mobile device standpoint. Supposedly though they're getting into TVs, and the rumor is like Netflix and them might be doing some type of partnership. But Digital Turbine got downloaded on a bunch of Androids behind the scenes. Not like you had to go and download an app for it. It was a software update that came with it in a sense with these phones. So they got partnerships with a lot of big hitters. I got into Digital Turbine. I'll tell you the dates. I bought them on September 16th at 31.45. You know what? I actually trimmed some of my. Yeah, it doesn't show. I got them a little bit before that. I trimmed some of my earnings. This thing jumped over 100. I think I got in at like $22.
Damn.
Raised my median to like 40. Yeah, raised my median to like 40. And when it broke a 75, I think I trimmed like 5%. It broke $100 or 99 and some change. I think it broke 100 if I'm not mistaken. And they're at what, $50 right now? Like
What's the
again,
ticker?
that's a half off move. APPS, like apps.
Apps. You know what? I think you brought this one up last time you were on here,
I
right?
might
We were
have.
talking.
I
I
might
know
have.
I've heard that ticker before. It may be something that I even day traded back in but
I
holy
might have.
shit, yeah, it went on a nice little run this year.
Yeah,
Um,
102.56 was his all-time high. I definitely trimmed my last portion at like 99 because it was at 102 and if I started dipping a bit, and I was like, all right, let me just trim the rest of it off. So I'm sitting on uh, a decent amount left. I probably trimmed about 80% at this point. That's how
Now,
high it was.
what's behind this most recent drop? Is that just it came in right after earnings? Was it like a poor earnings call or just one of
No, so
those?
look. I mean, look at their revenue. They're not a big hitter. Like you're talking about 300 mil in revenue last year. It wasn't that. There was a lot of growth still. Like it was still a lot of growth. There's a lot of things that they're waiting on. It's almost like Clove with this AI, right? It's like what exactly else is going to come to it. With Digital Turbine, it's like what deals are they making? And they spent a lot of money doing a deal with someone. Let me not talk out the side of my mouth for a second, but they did. Give me 1 second. I know.
No, it's all good. I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Degenerate says Clove has extremely low volume today, and the morning sell pressure is 100% shorts. Um, Clove co-creator. I know while you were talking, Clove went on a nice little run. We bounced off that $8, broke above VWAP. We're kind of right below it again. Let's see what happens if this is a reversal or just a test. Maybe we'll jump back up. But co-creator says Clove climbing out of the ditch and above VWAP. JJ says I'm loaded with shares and not going anywhere. Bought more Monday and Tuesday. And you, anybody else? I know you get the chat's been going crazy. I haven't been able to keep up with it too much, but I see Matt. I see you. Says Coach and Ghost, big pimping today. Thanks for joining us.
I'm gonna do a little bit more research on digital just to kind of holler.
Nah, yeah,
Just so,
it's all good. It's all good. I was
but
just
I'm
wondering
telling you,
if you knew because I was just looking at it like, man, it's
everything, every
basically
growth
fifty
stock.
percent lower than its all time high right now.
I think it's just every growth stock they kind of got bunched in the mix, but they still had strong numbers. It wasn't like they had like what just happened. It's just growth companies took a shit back in what, March, February,
Yeah,
March,
everything kind of started getting hammered hard.
April. Yeah,
Yeah,
March, April, May, it was starting to get hurt. Everything was. So, I mean, I look at a lot of companies. That's one of my things that I love doing, by the way. That's the momentum trading, the little bit of it that I do. I'm looking at like 50% off. Like I made a killing in March of last year off of those, that same concept. The
yeah.
Boeings, anything that I saw 50% off, like Target.
You
Dude, I'm
talking
winning on
about
Target.
like when COVID first hit or in last March?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Last,
When
like the
COVID
year prior,
first hit, like 2 Marches ago, you couldn't go
two
wrong
Marches.
buying anything. It was like I was
You
buying,
really
man. Once I kind of felt like the trend was over too, I was loading up margin on stuff, because it's like now obviously when you get those volatile swings, sometimes it can hurt you, but when we were like at the bottom, I was just loading up and then continuing
Me
to
too.
buy on the way up,
Me
and
too.
just averaging up on damn near everything. MGM is one that I really killed it on
Oh my
on the
God,
way
me
back
too.
up.
Oh my God, me too. There was the MGM is who ended up merging with no, that was Caesars. Was it ERI? What was the casino prior to merging with Caesars? I think
Yeah,
that's the one I'm
it was ERI. It was the
ERI, right?
Eldorado.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So ERI and Caesars, I had every single play there was on the rabbit hole of gambling. And
yeah,
I don't even gamble. That's the funniest thing. I really don't. I just know what it's like to be a gambler. I've done it before. You know what I mean? But I stopped gambling a long ass time ago, and I looked at the rabbit hole, and I'm like, ERI, Caesars. One of my boys called me and was like, "Yo, I don't know if it's true, but I think ERI might doing some kind of merger." And I looked, and it showed possible merger with Caesars or whatever. And I loaded up extra ERI at that point because I didn't know which way it was gonna go. You know, which one became more, profitable, depending on who rode what up. And
yep.
yeah, yeah, those were amazing plays. I got into bets, the ETF, like when it first dropped.
Okay.
So Round Hill ETFs, they got one like called Nerd. They got one called Bets BETZ. They got one called. They're pretty solid. They're pretty solid. They got a few. And in the name, you can kind of tell what they're doing. The Nerds one like an ETF for gaming, and the Bets one's like an ETF for betting, sports gambling.
What
And
was
I got
that?
in
What
on
was that
Bets back
ETF that Portnoy was backing that was supposed to be like the meme
Buzz.
stocks? Buzz. Yeah.
Buzz.
How's that? Just out of curiosity, how's that been doing? Because I remember when
I
it first came out, talking to like some of my buddies about it, and like oh, this ETF's about to drop. I can't wait to see how this one performs. And then shit, I haven't looked at it in a long ass time. It used to be on my watch list, and okay, so this is when it
I did
dropped. It
good.
looked like it was
I did good.
23.
I dropped out at 2674. I
Okay.
dropped out at 2674. I had bought a lot of, not a lot, but I got like probably like 400 or 500 buzz when it. I believed in the same thing he believed in. I'm over here. what took me to Reddit in the first place. I'm over here looking for like different people's sentiment on certain type of stocks to kind of get a feel for things, and then use that to kind of propel me into doing research on which one I'm looking at. I was going to there, I was lurking on the Twitter page, I was looking everywhere. So when Buzz came out, it was like kind of like it's gonna do that dirty work for me. I still think it's a really good long haul play, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
as I said before, I freed up a lot of capital for Clover and to have dry powder for that reason. That was one of the ones I clucked at 26.74. It's at 25 right now. I mean, it's been pretty flatline for the most part. It's never had too many big upticks or anything of that nature. It's been pretty flat. There's another one that Dave Portnoy pushes hard. It's called, I think Penn just bought him too, which was like, what is it called, man? Who Penn just buy? Anybody know?
Let me see.
Penn just bought someone.
Anybody in the chat
It's
know?
like, it's like, oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Score or something like that. Score Media, something like that. Score Media.
Score Media
Score.
and Gaming. Yeah, I just August 5th. It says Penn National to acquire Score Media, and Gaming for $2
And he
billion
was pushing
dollars.
Score. He was pushing Score hard. I bought Score at the time.
Okay.
I was like, man, okay, this guy thinks it's that believable. He's got to know something. And I'm looking into why he's saying it. I looked up Score Media. I looked at their numbers. They're kind of like a football, like a super, super duper growth company, but really don't have much to prove. And as soon as I seen that Penn was buying it, I was like, hey, let's go. I sold it that day.
Yeah. Just SCR. So that was announced on, just out of curiosity. So that was announced on August 5th, and it looks like.
I'm looking it up right now too, because their symbol changed at one point. That's what threw me off.
Yeah, so it was trading at $17, and then on August 5th it jumped up to 33, so almost doubled. Um, when the
What date was it
acquisition
on?
was announced. What's up, Doc? Tampa's in the house. Hey, see, Ghost, you gotta feel special today. Doc rarely comes and visits me anymore. He's
Doc
always
Tam.
waking up late. Thanks for coming in, Doc. I appreciate it, man.
My man. My man. I appreciate that as well. Ekatab, man, what's going on? I probably say your name wrong every time. Ekatab. There's probably some better way of saying this, man. I wish you would pronounce it for us in the chat, like write it out, spell it out for us. I did that with Levi the other day. I was like, man, I can't stand it. I'm calling you Levy in my mind. Is it Levi? I like to know how to say everyone's name. It's like one of those ticks I have or something. Every down there.
I'm looking at SRT just dropped a YouTube link in the chat. I just clicked on it to see if that one. I don't think I've seen this one yet. Okay. I'm gonna check this one out. SRT. Damn, it looks like a long one, but there's and I will say this too. Just looking through, yeah. All right, I'm gonna check. I just bookmarked that SRT. Thank you. I'm gonna check it out because I don't know if you know. I know I've been saying for a while. I'm still in GameStop. I've been in for a while. I've hopped in and out a couple times. Especially on that first run up in January. But I'm still holding some shares of GameStop, waiting for the next run up.
A lot of people say like, "Oh, Clove is it's got fundamentals and da 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 da," and the other two don't. I kind of disagree, to be honest with you. Like, there's one way that AMC could go with their streaming service, and there's one way everyone thinks it's just the movie theaters of theirs. I think there's a lot they can do that can actually make that somewhat different. The whole concept of it, there's beautiful places to go and movie theater wise, and where I live, where you got drinks coming to you, waitresses. I mean, they can make it fun. These viruses, come on, man. There's no way that's just going to continuously beat us down for the rest of eternity. And then on the flip side, also, GME, man, the e-commerce way. I mean, if you have subscriptions that you have just compiling and compiling and compiling, I mean, that can be very lucrative, man. It really can, dude. So it's.
See,
I
I
think
think
Clover
like
is
with
stronger, but I think fundamentally. But we can't say they have nothing. We can't say they have nothing. No, dude, they do still. Come on, dude. A lot can change when you have the capital to move and make moves. You know?
Yeah, no, I kind of put them into three categories, right? You know, there's a play that is like very low risk, which I would say Clove is, because getting in at $8 right now, you have the potential for, this is low risk. At $8 right now, this stock should be trading at 30. So this is undervalued, great fundamentally sound play. GameStop, I would say a little bit more risky, but if you look at where GameStop, what they're doing with NFTs, blockchain, they're starting to do same day delivery. If you look at where Ryan Cohn was at before with Chewy, and how he basically made them the Amazon of pet food, and then you
Yes.
have, so GameStop has that going for them, where now he's there. They've pulled in all these top level execs, just like how Clove hired some people from Uber Eats and Palantir. People have been leaving Amazon and Apple and all these other companies to go work with Ryan Cohen at GameStop. So I think that the company is pivoting and transitioning into something different, maybe even beyond e-commerce
Yes.
too. Like e-commerce might just be a part of it, but there's also esports gaming, and there's so much crazy stuff that the gaming industry is set to be like the growth, like grow 5 times over the next like 10 years. And I
Right.
mean, COVID actually helps the gaming industry, right? That means you're going to have more people sitting at
Absolutely.
home playing video
Absolutely.
games. So I would say GameStop is less risky, or I guess more risky than Clove as an entry point, but also a stock that, like, if you were to buy today at 160, if a squeeze never happens, if you're willing to hold for a couple years, this is a stock that could be trading at 300-400 bucks on fundamentals down the road. Because you got to think that it's got a way, and I could go into like the market cap and the percentage of market cap and all that kind of shit. But I would say GameStop could be a $400 to $500 stock down the road. Now AMC, on the other hand, even if they go into, like you're saying, like, I'd say AMC's probably super high risk. And the reason I say this is, even if they go into streaming, they don't own the movies, right? So you always, Disney's going to stream their own, everybody else. Now AMC does produce their own stuff, but now they're only going to be able to stream that. Like you're saying, with the alcohol at the movies, the food at the movies, and that makes for a great experience. Like, I went to a movie theater near me, and that's dope. You sit there, you could order food, they bring it to your seat, you get all that. But how much more profitable is that actually going to make AMC? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, even if they double their best year ever, this is a $6 stock.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's because of dilution that we can even say $6, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's their biggest hurdle. I mean, it seems like every 3 months on earnings call, they're rinsing and repeating, and it's like ironically the same amount that they need to pay their backdated rent and what have you or something. There's a lot of conspiracies even with that side of it, but I think that the cult following alone is like AMC could simply get high end actors to have exclusive rights with them and do movies that are their own original, like Netflix originals. I think that could be something. And my point is it's super high risk, beyond high risk out of the three. Definitely more riskier than GameStop in my opinion, and definitely more riskier, obviously than Clove. But it wouldn't surprise me if they came, thinking outside the box, they came up with some information, with some ways to generate revenue and to get like that cult following of specific actors that even are like, yo, man, I'll do a movie be on a 10-year agreement or a 5-year agreement with AMC, only AMC content. It could happen. Shows. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to kind of make that. And because their fans will do anything for them, their fans are going to pay for every subscription there ever is.
Yeah,
And
but
you're
I
talking
mean,
about
I don't know.
billions of
I guess
investors.
like streaming, I think also, it comes down to IP, like intellectual property, right? And Disney's got that shit on lock. Like, Disney came out with Disney Plus, they got Marvel now. They got the Simpsons. They acquired Fox. Like, Disney's got so much intellectual property, and then you look at the streaming space. Netflix, has so much. Amazon has the rights to so much. It's like all these other ones, have all this intellectual property already and streaming contracts with everybody. Like, unless AMC is gonna make, like you're saying, be generating their own content, how much more profitable can that make them? So again, even if you look at take there, and I again, and anyone who's just tuning in, I'm not saying AMC is not going to squeeze or go any higher than it is right now. I think it definitely has the market manipulation and the squeeze potential, but just from a risk standpoint, if all of these stocks went back to trading on fundamentals, you'd have to wait a couple years to get GameStop to its fundamental value. Clove would immediately triple from where it's at right now because it's fundamentally undervalued right now. AMC had probably dropped by about 10 times if it went back to fundamentals right now. So if you took,
Right.
its greatest, revenue producing year ever, right, and said, okay, we're going to give them that and we're going to double it because they've got cash on hand, which I don't even know if they do, but they're going to double their theater footprint, their geographic footprint. So we'll double their greatest revenue year ever. And then we're even going to add in a streaming service and double that. Let's just take, AMC trading at, $5, double it and double it again. And I'm just doing like dumb math right now and say, okay, $20 a share. But now think that they diluted themselves 5 times from that. So take that off the top and you're still looking at $4 or $5 a share.
Right.
Like that's where their market cap is. Like, they're trading so far beyond where their market cap is right now. It's very risky for somebody to jump in and buy shares. Now, that being said, I got calls right now on AMC. I'm sitting on 10 AMC calls. And I'll continue to. When these expire, I'll probably go in and buy some more because at some point I believe this stock's going to run back up, test 70 and probably jump to like 130, 140ish. But because of that cult following, because there's people that are willing to just keep buying on every dip, and it's supply and demand in the market. But it's just very risky. I wouldn't want to jump in and buy 1,000 shares right now, and I wouldn't be able to sleep at night having $36,000 of AMC stock.
Yes.
Especially when you start talking about COVID, Delta variant, if theaters going to shut down again, and what's that going to do? And I mean, shit, that's some scary shit, man.
I got a good question in here. First off, shout out to Chevy P. That's my boy, man. I'm looking at Thomas O'Connell. Do you focus on fundamentals, or how closely do you look to technicals, or is it a strong blend? So I definitely am more fundamental than technical. However, I use technicals to kind of find good entry points, if that makes sense. So I guess, I would say more fundamental than technicals. More fundamental than technicals. 100%. I like fundamentals only because I'm looking at, what to expect. Because I remember when I'm investing, I'm going like 6-12 months out. I rarely put a large investment down on something that I don't plan on keeping for 12 months. If it's small swing trading and stuff, yeah, sure, dude. I'll look at technicals. I'll look at a fucking something in my body. I feel, you know what I mean? I might get a feeling and be like, oh my God, yeah, I'm just going to do it. I feel it. It don't matter to me. There's got to be certain aspects I look at, but technicals is more of like for my swing trades, but I'm definitely more fundamental.
I agree with you. I'd say I'm a combination of both. Like, if I'm swing trading, I might look at the option chain, and that's more for like bets. Technical analysis, okay, something's going on, a breakout, something like that. I can give 2 shits about fundamentals. I'm just gonna jump in, and if the breakout happens, cool. If not, I'll jump out on my stop loss.
Exactly.
But when I'm looking for like a long-term swing, like for instance, DraftKings, I just opened that position on DraftKings last month, and I plan on holding that till at least February. I'm looking at the technical analysis and the fundamental analysis, right? Like, Degenerate started talking about body the other day, and it's been intriguing me, and I'm gonna start doing my due diligence because that's gonna be more of a long-term play for me, like Clove is. And before I jump in and move a ton of money into something like that, I want to see technicals and fundamentals. Or sometimes I won't even play technicals if a play is fundamentally sound, and it's like, damn, this stock is, you know, trading like Clove 3-4 times below fundamentals. I don't care what the chart says. I'll buy and hold that because you could see on paper, you look at everything, and it's like, man, this stock should be trading 4 or 5 times
Undervalued.
higher. So, a combination of both, I think, is for me. And I know you just said the same thing, so I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, man, just I'm gonna have to cut it in about 8 minutes. I just want to put that out there. So just so you
Okay,
know,
cool.
so we'll,
I got
we'll
you.
keep rapping and stuff. But at 7:30, I gotta jump off today.
That's
Um,
perfect. Appreciate you for having me, like always, man. I have a lot of fun, man. I'm excited for this news to come, man. Coaching Ghost, man, coast to coast. I'm excited for this.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
we're
I want
we're
to
so
tell
I know anyone
people.
who joined a little late. So me and Ghost have been talking since last Thursday. You know, and basically we're gonna do something together. We got some exciting stuff coming. We're just trying to get it all worked out, get everything going, and we're gonna be coming at you guys pretty soon here with this show. And next time Ghost comes on, we're gonna start doing this more often too. Um, we'll get his YouTube channel up and going so that you guys can go follow him and start getting in there ahead of time too
You know
before
what?
we
I
get
dropped
going.
the link. It looks like I got someone subscribed, so I think it's working at some
Oh,
point.
did you throw the link in the chat?
I did. I threw the link in the chat right around that time. We were trying to figure out why you couldn't search it, but I think it's just because it's just that inactive. I think I made this one yesterday.
Okay, shit, if you can, throw that link in the chat again, and I'll go grab it out of there and post it in the video.
Okay, perfect.
Let me see.
Yeah, I'm man. This chat, you guys got me You guys got me cracking up right now. They got me dying right now. You got you got Gangsta Killer, Ghost looking sharp as fuck, and then Doc Tampa comes in. Love the Ghost Hawk for when he ride that Tesla whip. Man, y'all are cracking me up.
Let me see here. Live chat.
To keep those kids, Coach. Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
I don't know, were you on here earlier when I was saying? So I just bought a I bought one of those little thing. I don't even know what it's called, but basically the little digital whiteboard. So I think it's coming in the mail today. That I want to start using it on my Chalk Talk so I could actually sit here and draw on the screen and you know. But
That
I got one. I got one coming because sometimes when I'm sitting here breaking stuff down and explaining, I want to be able to get going John Madden style and start drawing on the screen and
yeah,
stuff. So
absolutely. That's cool. That's
I'm
cool.
looking
We're gonna
forward to
need that
setting
for
that up
sure.
today.
We're gonna need that for sure. That goes hand in hand. Um, oh man, I'm excited, man. Listen, I'm gonna take off. I know you're gonna wrap up your show here. Again, as always, man, it's always fun chopping it up with you. I love everyone out here that shows us support, man. So thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Hope you all enjoy your day. I hope Clove, starts to end the week off fairly strong, so we don't have to worry about it. But shout out to THB, by the way. We are having a show yesterday or tomorrow. We're going on a show tomorrow, where somebody's getting their ass tattooed, man. Clove with like these cool guy glasses. His wife is doing it. Apparently, his wife's the artist. Man, it's exciting. I mean that's got to be a fun day to watch, man. So don't forget about power hours for THB. It'll happen tomorrow, the tap part. But yeah, man,
Yeah, so
hilarious.
Tarheel, anyone who's unfamiliar, every stream I've been putting Tarheel's link because at some point he comes up and I always want to refer people. So he's just in there. So if you go down in the video at the bottom here, you'll see a link to Tarheel Blue. Make sure you guys go on there every day, Power Hour. But it sounds like tomorrow's gonna be a little wild. So I'm looking forward to that too. Ghost, did you drop that link again? I was looking for it because I want to
I
post yours.
did, yeah. I think I did. Yeah, I did. And I guess my logo's gonna change with it too. For some reason, it still says the G, but you'll see a picture of me instead, so that at least it doesn't just look like some random G in there. So you'll see my chats more often. But yeah, I did.
Oh, you know what, bro? Hold on.
Is that what's happening?
Hold on. I'm gonna make you a moderator real quick, and then go ahead and do the link again. Because if you're not a mod, you can't put links in the chat.
Uh, well, that's trippy. Someone subscribe. I don't know how they found it. Okay, I can do it now.
Yep. Try it one more time.
It worked.
Yep, there it is. All right, so I'm gonna copy and paste that real quick. If you want to keep rolling, there we go. So I'm gonna copy this link. And again, this is so there's no content on this channel, I don't think yet. But if you can go drop Ghost a subscription because me and him are working on something, and yeah, we're gonna announce that fairly soon here. But go subscribe to his channel, in advance, and let's see if that works. I just put it in the video, so it should be able to go on there and click on it as well. Um,
Yeah, I'm definitely excited, man. I really am. We got so much love out here. Y'all asked for it. The Coach and Go show was requested by you guys, so we literally are doing this because we saw how many people thought it'd be an entertaining thing to watch. So, we'll continue to have some fun with you guys as long as y'all want it, man.
yep.
Yeah, man. A lot of. I appreciate you so much, Coach. We'll be talking offline, obviously, and I'll probably see you in the chat somewhere or another on THB tonight, so or later this afternoon. So, thanks for having me, like always.
No,
I appreciate
absolutely,
it
man.
as well.
Thanks for coming on, and hey, everybody else out there, thank you guys. I see Scotty still here. Doc Tampa, blah blah was in the house today. So many of you guys too. So, again, appreciate everybody. Make sure you guys go watch Tarheel. Make sure you go subscribe to Ghost, and make sure you log back onto my live stream tomorrow morning. So and if you haven't already, I keep saying turn on the little bell notification, especially for me and Tar Heel, because we don't always follow our schedule all of a sudden, right? Like he's supposed to be starting at power hours. Sometimes this dude will go live an hour early. So if you got the bell turned on, you'll find out. I usually start at 6 a.m. on the West Coast, but lately sometimes I'll hop on at 5:15 because I'm crazy. I can't sleep. And if I'm up, I'm just going to start live streaming early. So if you turn the bell on, you'll get notified as soon as I do go live. So, all right.
Much love, Coach.
All right, man. I'll see you later. See everybody else later too. Have a good day.